Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia who is currently walking through a frozen yet muddy field between a dual carriageway and my house over there. And I'm using this time to make a bit of a vlog to talk to you about something that's really important for you if you're thinking about moving to Russia, and also just a lesson for life, because I'm going to give you some examples of people who have done this and then, well, they're actually left with a feeling of guilt, and that is the ability to reinvent yourself in Russia, become very big, very popular at what you do, be very successful, but then also you have the chance of encountering imposter syndrome. Let's go for it. First things first, take this bad boy to the garage to start being fixed. So this is the reoccurring problem. The air suspension breaks all the time. And so right now it's not even on drive mode, it's on load the boot mode. And there you go. It's very weird driving this thing after driving the hire car, and I'm bouncing around all over the place because the suspension's not working, is it? And today we've got like whenever it's like this in Russia, they say Silent Hill. Everyone's seen the film Silent Hill, and so whenever it's foggy they say, oi, Silent Hill na ulica сегодня. So I've got to say, even with the broken suspension, this car is so much better than driving that other thing. Who knows what it says on the back of the car, why it says it, and what the sticker means in the back windscreen. Let me know. Obviously I do know. I don't want you to tell me as if I don't know. I'm telling you because I want you to learn. Oh, blimey. We're bouncing around all over the place, obviously. No suspension. It's pretty crazy. It's very icy outside as well, guys. Extremely icy. First icy day really of the year. It's very, very slippy. And look, I'm wearing these big winter boots and my winter coat, which is very dirty and needs a clean. So I'm going to take you now inside the garage and show you what that's all about. Oh, they're closing the door on me. It's like Indiana Jones. I've got to leg it to the door before it closes. Let's go. Hello. Hello. Как дела? So I've been told first thing on a Monday morning, the last thing these people want is me to film them. So I'm not gonna. So we begin the walk home. The misty walk home. And maybe I'll point some things out on the way and you can see what it says and see if you can understand what it says. Let's start off with this. What do you think this says? Oh, I'm blocked off. That's a bit rubbish, isn't it? It's incredibly slippy and quite windy as well. I'm hoping it's not gonna ruin the video. I didn't bring my microphone with me. I think it's interesting that in Russia we have these gas things everywhere, these kind of places to regulate the gas. Often they'll have the thing, what's it called, the thing to turn it or whatever. In the UK you never see the gas pipes, never see anything to do with gas. I don't know if that's the same where you live in the world. You know, literally you would not know that gas exists in the UK because it just goes, I guess, underground and then into the house, whereas in Russia you see the yellow gas things everywhere. Look, this is a gas pipe here basically, and all over the place down this field you can see the yellow gas. And we're going to walk now down the most muddy path ever, and that's why I got my boots. Check this out. This is almost like, it's almost like walking on quicksand. This is amazing. So in the summer I often cut through here when I'm walking back from the garage, or even in the car you can see there's loads of tyres. People do off-roading and stuff. Yeah, this is going to, oh, In fact, it's frozen. So it's not slippy, but it's not muddy, which is good, isn't it? The fact that it's slippy is actually making it harder to walk than it would do if it was muddy. Soon, of course, you won't be able to see any of this mud. It'll be waist high in snow, and at that point they'll clear the road and people will be able to drive through it again. It's just a cheeky shortcut back to the area where I live, instead of doing a whole lap of the dual carriageway and doing a U-turn and coming back again. Here we go, another place where gas can be connected. Oh, I'm like a big kid. Yeah, who loves doing that? So if you are thinking of moving to Russia, you have the ability to completely reinvent yourself, which is something that's incredible. If you're living in a city and you move to a different city in the country where you're living, then yes, you can reinvent yourself to a certain extent. But when you're moving to Russia, pretty much nobody here is going to know anything about what you've done in the rest of your life. And so you have that opportunity to start over again. And it's an incredible opportunity because no one's going to know about the person you kissed when you were drunk, when you were 18 years old, that was a disaster and everyone ridiculed you about. No one's going to remember the embarrassing moment or even know about the embarrassing moment that happened in school. No one's going to know about your failed business or whatever it is. You get to start completely afresh, and that's incredible. Also, if you have some sort of profession, right, whether that be, I don't know, you're good with woodworking, right, a carpenter. You can tell that I'm not good with woodwork because I didn't even know the word was carpenter until my brain clicked into action. And I can tell you this, in the past when I was a kid and I used to hear about Jesus and Joseph, his father being a carpenter, well, his living father being a carpenter, I always used to imagine them making carpets. And so there you go. Anyway, when you come to Russia with a certain profession, you're able to really drum up attention with regards to that profession and as to who you are, because the Russian media, the local people, they're really interested in knowing about you and what you do. Let's say, just for example, there's a chef in our town. His name's Paul, he's from Ireland, and he opened up a restaurant, and pretty much he's famous throughout the town now. He's famous, everyone thinks he's the best chef. Now, I don't know if he's the best chef, but because he's a chef who's come to Vladimir from Ireland, and he's, you know, now bringing these like Irish traditions and these special recipes or whatever it is to Russia, well, people love to give this kind of thing attention. I had to stop there because I couldn't walk over the little slippy bit of mud. I was kind of stuck, and I really don't fancy falling over today. Typically, the times in Russia when I fall over, they are in spring and in autumn when it's dirty and muddy outside. When it's snowy, if you fall over, you don't get dirty. Whereas the rest of the time, yeah. So let's look at other professions too. Let's say, for example, you're a DJ, just for example, right? If you come to Russia to live in a, you know, medium to small town, or if you live in Moscow, in a particular area of Moscow, or a particular area of a bigger town or a bigger city, then you can really create a name for yourself fast, because you'll be known as the DJ from London. Even if you're not from London, right? Even if you're not from the UK, quite often they'll get it wrong. I've been doing and helping out an English conversation class at the moment with a girl who teaches English, and she asked me, Sam, can you help out in the class? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll help out. And then on the advertising, on the marketing, she put on the flyer, Sam from London. And obviously I'm from Nottingham, but it doesn't really matter, because it gives them the ability to market those services, and it gives you the ability. If you're a teacher, the same, right? If you're a teacher in your town and there's 500 English teachers and they're all Russian, and then there's you, then you might be a much worse teacher than all of those Russian people. But typically most people think, well, I want to go to the English guy, or I want to go to the American guy because he speaks real English, right? He knows better than the Russians do, even if you don't know anything about teaching. And so these professions that you, even if you're not a teacher, right? Even if you're just coming to Russia and you're starting to teach, but professions like this give you the ability to really build an identity around you and about who you are in Russia, which is an amazing thing. Because if you're going to be working in woodwork, for example, right? If you're doing woodwork and you're living in the US, you're competing against all the other people doing woodwork in the US. If you come to Russia and you're the American who does woodwork based on some sort of method that he learned when he was living in Kentucky, or whatever the story that you create behind the persona of who you are and what you do, the media will pick up on that. People will be like, I want a genuine Kentucky sofa, not a Russian one. And so this ability to position yourself in life as some sort of expert based on where you're from or some sort of particular knowledge really enables you to recreate the person you are in Russia. So I've come to the edge of my settlement just as I walk over the field. I'm going to walk back to my car, go in my house, make a quick cup of tea, and then come back out and go sit down by the lake and continue the video. Here we've got a Soviet wall, those concrete slabs, very Soviet. And I know you guys love to see just typical houses, and you love to see the mixture of typical houses. And if you're watching my video for the first time, then what you should know is that on the edge of town, in the villages, in all of these areas, in the past, everybody would have lived and worked at the state farm or whatever the factory was. The Soviet Union ended, people purchased their own plots of land, private plots, and then built the house that they want. And so we have a mixture. Like now, if you wanted to, if you could find an empty plot in this village or a house in this village, you could buy it, knock it down and build whatever you want, essentially. And that's why we have a huge difference. I'm guessing this house has been there a while, hence the huge wall. And also, this is like the route from the village down to the lake in the summer. And so they're probably tired of seeing people walking past every day during the summer. And you can see houses like this one. The people didn't really know much about house design. I guess it was built before the internet was a thing. There wasn't much access to information. They just thought, right, a house is a house with a roof, put some windows here and there, and that'll do. These are very popular fences in Russia, this thin sheet metal, very, very popular. I'd say 50% of the houses have this sheet metal on them. The garage doors as well. So originally, this would have been the only road in the village. And so when people were building these houses, they didn't think to make the high fences that were needed. Not many people would have been coming here, just simply the people that lived here, no other reason to come. And you can see there's lots of this American style siding that was popular in the 90s. This one looks like it might be possibly abandoned or perhaps used just as a dacha to grow vegetables. And I love walking past these two. These very interesting kind of Russian village style houses, very nice, kind of bright and colourful. And then this thing, which is massive. I mean, it's massive. It goes back probably, I don't know, 40 meters, I'm guessing. It's very big, but it's done and the kind of old style of the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the kind of style that a merchant house would have, you know, kind of 150 years ago. The kind of merchant of the village that maybe owned the factory or sold the goods from the factory to the rest of Russia or whatever. So lately I've enjoyed filming housing areas a lot less, because I'm kind of in a mode of anticipatory anxiety of somebody opening their door and shouting at me, "What are you bloody filming?" or whatever. And I'm kind of stuck in that mode whenever I'm out and about filming. You know, the anticipatory anxiety just kicks in immediately. And it's like, oh, I hope I don't have something really annoying happen. Whereas it didn't used to be like that before. Sign of the times. So let's take a look at the war memorial. The people that died fighting fascism. And you'll see how many people died. And as I said, considering there's only one village, one road in this village, and so many people from one family. We've got Kuzmin, we've got 5 people from the Kuzmin family, which is pretty tragic, isn't it? Again with the sheet metal fences. So I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to my audience. At the moment, my audience, the people who are leaving comments as well, especially, are leaving really nice, really kind, and very, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? English words, Sam, blimey. Giving lots of good advice, basically. And it's been really helpful to me. The video that I uploaded yesterday, as I'm filming this video, I don't know when this video will be uploaded, I got lots of advice about how to deal with conflicts, and a lot of people said, just walk away. But the problem that I have with the just walking away is a lot of the conflicts that I face during filming. So I'll be out and about doing something, somebody will come to me and say, you've got to leave this place, you're forbidden to film in here. And I've been chucked out of shopping centres, furniture shops, building department stores, everything you can think of. Basically everything that Travelling with Russell films, right? I've been to film and I get chucked out. And they told me it's against the law to film, you can't film. Whereas I know that the law actually protects my rights to film in the place. And so, yes, I can walk away from the situation. I can just leave and walk away. But it's very frustrating because I want you guys to see what it's like in these places in a provincial Russian town, and me just accepting them telling me I'm not allowed to do what I'm actually allowed to do and walking away is pretty frustrating too. Now I can stand there, I can say, yes, I'm allowed to film, I know I'm allowed to film, I know my rights, I know the law, here's a copy of the law. It doesn't matter what you say. They refuse to accept your explanation and they tell you what they decided is right and you're wrong, and that's the end of it. And I've had some crazy ones. Like I went to a market and they told me, yeah, you can't film in the market. And I'm like, why? It's a market. They were like, no, it's a top secret location, forbidden to film in here. I'm like, so you've built a market in a top secret location, which is just obviously ridiculous, right? And that's the thing. And I have to walk away knowing that I'm right and they're just laughing at me and I can't do anything about it. And that's why it's frustrating. Now I can stay in the situation, I can argue my point, but sometimes it gets to the stage where after an hour of arguing, someone will turn up and say, yeah, why are you forbidding him from filming? He's completely allowed. It's written in the law, go and film whatever you want. But the people will spend that hour belittling you, trying to do everything in their power to make you not allowed to film, basically. And I've had situations where the owner of the premises has come and said, he's allowed to film, let him film, he's a blogger, I want him to film here, why are you making a problem for him? And then what the people do is they make up lies and they say things like, well, you know, he could potentially cause a fire, or, you know, he was threatening customers or whatever. So just determined to win, basically, to make sure that I cannot film because they're like on this power trip. And so, yes, thanks for the advice about walking away. I think walking away really helps, especially when it's with negative friends and stuff like that. But when it's with filming, I'm doing my job. I want to film locations so that you guys can see what it's like there. And to be told you can't do something that the law actually says that you can, and then walk away, is very frustrating. So this is my road, guys. And the funny thing is, we had the whole road remade not long ago, probably 5 years ago. And I don't know who it is that forced them to redo the road, but they put loads of signs like this up, which is just funny. Look, no overtaking, like you can overtake, right? And I guess they had too many street signs. Like we've got a zebra crossing sign here, we've got a zebra crossing sign here, a zebra crossing sign there. We haven't got a zebra crossing, we've got another no overtaking sign. And it's pretty funny how, I guess, we got the excess of the road signs that were left at the end of the year, maybe. And so as I walk down my road, you can see this big orange truck here. And what do you think that truck is doing? That truck is removing all the poo. It's removing all the sewage from the house next door. And it's pretty interesting because the smell is pretty awful while he's doing it. And they come and do it all the time. It's like a thing that they do all the time. I don't understand. So there's a great big hole where the car was, and it's left a great big hole in my heart. Time to jump into the Chinese bad boy machine. Is it called Chonggong or Chongyang? Chongyang, I think it might be called. People have asked about it. I'm renting it right now for about, let me think, about £40 a day. Quite expensive, isn't it? So I've just realised that this bad boy isn't four-wheel drive, is it? And I just slipped like crazy on the road. Not used to it, right? Just expected it to be four-wheel drive, and it wasn't. So we've arrived down at the lake. It's just a question of how far do I risk going in this car. Let's see. Oh, it seems okay. We've got a nice little road. We're going to be fine. Let's get down to the lake. Quick question for you. How many of you guys and girls who have a car that has keyless start put your key in your car and forget about it and go do something and then think, oh blimey, I parked my car all day and I left the key inside it? I bet it happens quite a lot, because I keep almost doing it, like going to lock the car and thinking, oh man, the key's inside. So this right here is one of the tragedies of places to relax outside of town, because people just dump their shit and it's very frustrating. You'll notice that the city centres are all immaculate, but when it comes to places that people go to relax out of town, they can't be bothered to take their rubbish with them, and they kind of just put them in a bag near to a bench or something like that, expecting that they'll be collected by somebody. And then what happens is the snow covers it all up, and then, like when it comes to spring, and we're in autumn now, you get just litter everywhere, and people have to come and volunteer to come and pick up the litter. You can see that it's here as well, look. Why not just take it with you? There's a bin on the way to your house or outside your house. Just take it with you, and you can see there's bits of litter everywhere. And then up here as well, we've got the same thing. It's just frustrating, and this isn't really a bad problem. There's some places like reservoirs outside of town that look like literally a litter dump. It's insane. So another thing, the road is quite a distance from us, but I bet you can hear the road. I bet you can hear the traffic, and that's because everyone now has winter tyres on their car, which are much louder. And so this place, which is very peaceful usually, well, it's kind of noisy a bit now. But in summer, of course, this is very popular. People come here. There's a couple of volleyball courts, floodlights, and a place to go swim. And then in this blue little building over here, that's the place where the people that kind of are in charge sit there, the lifeguards and that. So today I've got my thermos flask and this. Look, crime here is ours, it says on there. There's loads of souvenirs like this. This one was given to me a few years ago. Ah, this is nice with my winter coat on. Feeling nice and warm. I should have brought my gloves with me. It's only about -1, I think, today, but it's windy. I'm hoping the wind hasn't ruined the video. I'm gonna pour myself a cup of tea now and get cracking on with the video again. I can't believe it. It started raining. We've got that really nice sound like rain on a tent, but it's not rain on a tent, it's rain on me. So let me just kind of wrap up the video before I get soaked. So, imposter syndrome. I've seen loads of foreigners come to Russia and kind of blag their way into being better than they are at something, and Russians don't get it. Russians don't understand it, but when a foreign person meets the foreign person who's a blagger, they see through it immediately. And I've been guilty of imposter syndrome myself, not because I've tried to be something I'm not, but because Russian people think I'm something I'm not. Often Russian people think that I'm a hugely successful businessman because I drive a Porsche, even though my Porsche is really old. Or I used to own a language school, and people think I'm a hugely successful businessman because of language school. And people expect you to know a lot about your country. This is something that's really interesting about Russia, because Russians know a lot about Russia. And so they want you to come and give talks and talk about rock music or poetry or authors or history or anything about your country. And if you don't know a lot, you know, they'll still be really impressed, but they'll probably know more than you know, which is really weird. But I knew a guy who came here, and he came to my English language school, and he came here and he said to everyone that he was a linguistic specialist. And when I had my language school, we would be invited to loads of different places to participate in events, to speak at local universities and stuff like that, because I employed gap year university students from the UK who came to Russia. And I also employed some other people that just wanted to come to Russia and have a gap year. And so we had this one guy that was a self-proclaimed linguistic coach. And basically what he used to do is he used to get on stage in front of a load of people, whether it be at a school or a university, and just talk complete BS. He would just talk random nonsense, ridiculously random nonsense, like, yeah, so the bilingual linguistic sound incorporated within the method allows you to create signals which will vibrate through the system, enabling you to create a more astounding formation of sound within the context. You know, stuff like that. And all the other foreigners would sit there and think, he's just BSing, isn't he? He's just talking absolute rubbish, right? Every foreigner that met him or saw him doing his thing where he's performing his linguistics knowledge would just say, nothing that he's saying makes any sense at all. It's a complete load of crap. But the teachers at the universities and the schools and places like that would think, wow, this guy is on another level. He's putting us to shame. And I'd be like, no, he doesn't know anything he's talking about at all. He's complete imposter. This is an imposter syndrome. And, you know, when he would meet anyone that spoke the native language that he speaks, which is English, they'll just say, you're lying. This is just nonsense. You're talking absolute nonsense. And that was my one piece of advice with imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome will catch up to you. I often feel imposter syndrome because people will think that I'm more knowledgeable or know more, or that I'm richer or more successful or whatever it is than I am. And it's easy to just go along with that and just kind of like play along as if it's true. But then you'll have imposter syndrome because you'll wake up one day and think, well, that's not me. I am not that person. That is not true, right? And so it can be very detrimental to you if you take on a lie and portray that lie, and then it'll eat away at you inside. And I've had to come to terms with a few things where people have just decided that I am the way that I am, and I've kind of run with it and just said, oh, okay, fine, whatever, let it be whatever it is. Because local media will portray you as something more exotic than you are, right? More exotic than you are. I think that's the way to put it. And then you just kind of play along with that. But then when you meet someone from your own country, they'll be like, this is a lie. He's just a normal person, right? None of this is true. So anyway, that's my advice to you, right? Come to Russia and you can be very successful. You can reinvent yourself here by kind of enhancing your hobby, whatever it is, your profession. If you have a specific profession, then the Russian media and local people will really take to that, will really, I don't know, anything that's native to your country, right? Anything that's native. So if you're, I don't know, a builder, right? And you're from Scandinavia, and then, you perform or build Scandinavian type houses, then the likelihood is that people will want to come to you because they'll say, well, I can go to a Russian person and get the Scandinavian type house, but if I go to the Scandinavian who builds Scandinavian houses, then it'll be the original. It'll be better because they know more that they're talking about because they're from there, right? So you have the opportunity to reinvent yourself and to become mini or semi-famous with that task, with that job, with that business, which is really going to help you to stand out from the crowd. But don't become an imposter. So somehow my Crimea cup got dirty, so here's my tea for today, and it's Robush. Do you like Robush, guys? So I'm thinking to perhaps come back here with some big bin bags and clear all this up. What do you think? So the cabin has been opened up. It's not really a cabin, is it? Oh, he's going swimming. He is going swimming. That's brilliant. I'm going to go film and go swim now. That's amazing. So he's gone down into that little area that's been cut. Look at this. What a brave guy. I bet this is like a daily thing. Maybe we can speak to him about it. Find out what he does. Because my friends do this once a week, or try 3 times a week, actually. But I don't know if this is like an everyday ritual that he does. Wow. That's amazing. Would you dare to do that, guys? Cold water swimming. You can see he's breaking up the ice as he goes. Amazing. Wow. That is brave. That is a brave thing to do. Very brave. So he's actually going under the water as well. I don't know if you can see it because it's so far away, but that is amazing. Wow. So good. Каждый день, да? Нет, да? После, нельзя, да? Да. Молодец вообще, молодец. Круто. So there you go. An unexpected end to the video. Hope you enjoyed this little ramble that I did today. Ramble as in me rambling with my voice, not rambling with my feet. Anyway, if you like this type of video, let me know, because I've already ordered a table and I've ordered a Russian flag, and I'm going to let you know something funny in the next video as well, because yeah, I misread the description of the flag.